go. I got to lean in.
What is up, everybody? Happy, what night are we on? Is it Wednesday night? Tuesday night.
Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday night. Thank you so much for joining us for season 4, episode 15 of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Welcome, Antonio and Shantae. How are y'all doing? How are you doing, Antonio?
I'm doing good. How about you?
You're looking good. I love this color palette. Like you and Shantae both have on like Christmas, like complementary green and like red, and I'm in like a sweater.
That you wear Halloween black. Look at you.
I was gonna go work out, and I was like, "Nah, I'm fine. I'll do it tomorrow." My bad.
David said no
Hi,
motivation tonight.
No motivation. I have nothing to give. How are you doing, Shantae?
I'm happy to see both of you, and I think you are bringing the joy of the season with your beautiful hosting. So I think you are just fine.
I will accept a narcissist. I will accept all of what you just said. I will happily receive that. Thank you guys for showing up and being able to do our show today. I know it's getting close to holiday season. We're at the tail end where people are going to start traveling for the shot. As said, Antonio looks like a hunter.
Son, do you want to be preyed upon?
Okay, he's on the hunt for your man, Sean. Sean S., thank you so much for joining us. It's always good to see your face in the comments and to see you go in a battle over your opinions in these comments. And we expect nothing less from you tonight. So thank you for joining us. Robo's Adventure, hey. Happy Monday night, Tuesday night. My God, you could be doing anything with your evening, but you chose to spend it with us. And for that, I ask, is everything okay at home? So before we get into sometimes, before we jump into recapping this episode, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to our channel and our video. Set the notification up there so that way you can get alerted any single time we go live or drop a new video. Episode 15, at the end of this, we got a preview that next week was going to be the finale. And I have to say, I don't mind it. Like, I feel like the number of episodes that it's provided, it's gotten to the, like, we're at that point where we're like, okay, let's try to wrap this up. And I think this is a perfect time to wrap up the stories. Tonio, you and I have been recapping these for the last couple of seasons. And right around this point in the season is when all of us get a collective, like, oh my God, please, let's just end this already. So I'm noticing a lot of the franchises are doing this. And I think, a 15, 16 episode season is probably like, that's like the perfect part. And then depending on how it goes, a 2 or 3 episode reunion. Shantae, what do you think? Did you think the reunion is going to be 2 parts or 3 parts? What do you think? What do you hope the reunion is?
Bravo Andy's so greedy. I wouldn't be surprised if they milk it out to be 4 parts like how they tried to do. But
no, Shantae, not today. No.
I
can't do it. It's not an option. I can't do that.
If they're not being super greedy, I'm thinking it's going to be 2 or 3 parts.
Tonio, what about you?
I think it's probably going to be 2 parts. Because, I mean, if we think about it, some of the main storylines kind of involved, just a couple of people. So,
yeah.
And I don't think there's anything just so revealing coming out that it would need to be a 3rd part. But I think 2 parts would be good for this. See, and also I like a 12-ish episode season. I feel like 12 episodes, y'all should be able to get that thing and then get it wrapped up with a bow and send the people on their way. 2-part reunion, we good.
Very much. It's given limited series. I enjoy a good 10 to 12 episodes. Let's wrap this up. Apple TV got that stuff down to a science. You get 10 episodes and we're out.
Now, I will say this, though. This season, to me, seems like it has, even though it's been 15 episodes, I didn't really realize that until you said it, but it seems like it's gone by kind of quick to me. And I guess because this has been, to me, a really good season, I've enjoyed pretty much all of the episodes. So maybe that's why it went by so quickly.
Yeah.
I agree. And I was kind of thinking about it. And unlike like Jersey last season had the same number of episodes, but Jersey had one single storyline dragged out for 15 episodes. And we've seen Salt Lake City do that. Except for last season when it was just like they were throwing any and everything up at the wall for a storyline. This season has felt like they've kind of tried to wrap up the 3 main storylines all within about 4 episodes. Like any fights, drama, they've tried to wrap it up. And I think that has felt it's made the season more palatable, more digestible. I think we've gotten a chance to really focus on each feud or each part of the ladies and storylines and stuff together. So I think I'm minimum 2 episodes, depending on how this fight with Monica goes between her and Heather, and then the rest of the cast will probably determine if we get that third part. But you know, Salt Lake City, they're good for an episode of just pure like fluff and screaming. So we'll see how that goes. Before we jump into this, I just want to say, what do you guys think? Are y'all missing Mary? We haven't seen Mary in about 3 episodes, and it does feel a little bit weird. The tone has shifted. It's just kind of, they left Mary for dead. So tell us in the comments, are you missing Mary? Do you think Mary would have been on this trip? What do you think she would have contributed? All right, so let's jump right in. So we are on day 3 in Bermuda. The ladies are starting a new day, and Heather wants to go ahead and clear the air with Monica. So she asked Monica over. They're going to take a little bit of walk. Heather, what I've liked about Heather this season is she hasn't minced words. I think the girls' trip was probably the best thing that could have happened to her, because she came back like not timid Heather, not talking in circles Heather, not stuttering Heather. She has something to tell you. She's telling it. And she said, Monica, look, I'm sorry I lost my cool, but what you did about talking about my daughter's sex life, you crossed a line that I don't want to cross. But my daughter's sex life is private. My sex life is private. I respect the fact that you guys could talk about it. That's just not me. Monica, surprisingly, is like, you know what? I can respect that. I do apologize for crossing that boundary with you. I hate fighting with you. You and I have had such a good time. I thought we were building a friendship. I really hated that it threw me for a loop. And the two of them quickly squashed it and kind of moved forward, which again is something new for Salt Lake City, because it's one thing these girls are good for. It's beating a dead horse when it comes to a feud. So after they wrap up their stuff, combo does switch to the big elephant in the room, and that big Greek Mafia elephant is, did Meredith create a fake profile on Twitter and send messages to set Angie up? And so Heather, again, point blank asked Monica, do you feel like Heather is responsible? And Monica was really quick to say, you know what? I never insinuated that Meredith was the one that was responsible, but I also don't think that she's capable of doing that. And then in Monica fashion, she says, that's something I would do, but I don't think that Meredith would do that. And so, you know, Heather kind of agrees. She goes, if Meredith, it's not the first time that these accusations have come up, but I would like to think that Meredith would not be capable of doing this, but Heather is a little conflicted given what we saw last year, and rightfully so. Meanwhile, Meredith is calling Seth and kind of recaps the night's arguments. She actually looks a little more upset on the phone than she did at the dinner, which was a little odd to me. But Seth says that she should just focus on being in Bermuda and being in the beautiful place that she's at, and just really not focus on the BS that the ladies are throwing her way. Whitney links with the Don, Angie, and they go for some tennis. And of course, they're discussing the fight too. Whitney says that it was nuts to her that Meredith kind of sat there while accusations were flying, and then went home and like cut cake with everybody and pretended like it happened, which I thought, I was like, Whitney making a lot of sense this season. What the hell is happening? She said that, you know, it just struck her as weird that Meredith, you know, didn't rant, she didn't rave. She felt like she was kind of hoping that things would just be brushed under the rug and she wouldn't have to address it. And then the old Whitney came back and she was like, Meredith needs to take accountability because these are serious accusations. And I'm like, okay, calm down. Like, I was with you until you started saying words that you don't partake in either. They briefly discussed the little altercation between Heather and Monica. And Angie is, you know, kind of understanding. She says Heather is trying to distance herself from a religion, but there's a lot of programming and a lot of brainwashing that comes along with it, a lot of shame that's inherent in it, that Heather kind of has to undo and deprogram herself on. But Whitney, having to make herself the main character yet again, feels away because Heather doesn't talk about her sex life, but she has no problem talking about Whitney's sex life in her new book. And so we see some flashback pictures to 2017. And apparently for Justin's birthday, Whitney did a boudoir photo shoot and Heather was the photographer. And we see flashback pictures of this, and it is a ghetto, low budget mess. Like
Very.
it was the lowest of the budget. It was shot with an iPhone 11. There were no lights. There was no costumes. It was just Whitney in a pair of like, I don't know, Victoria's Secret one size too big peonies and some like Spencer's handcuffs with her feet in the air, and the bottom of her feet were a little dirty. And I was like, this is, my God, I can understand you being embarrassed having this talked about in the book.
Very on brand for Whitney, though.
Very on brand for Whitney. So now we find, okay, well, Whitney's mad. Jesus Christ, we couldn't go one episode without her being mad about something. So a lot happening in the first 5 minutes of this episode. So let's start off with you. Tonio, what did you make of the little conversation between Heather and Monica? Do you think it was good that they squashed it so quick, or do you wish that it would have kind of gone a little bit longer?
No, I think that trying to make that a storyline or make it last longer than it did, it would have become cringy and kind of like, what are they fighting about? I like that Heather, kind of stated her boundaries and what she needed going forward. That was kind of odd anyway has your daughter having, like, that was kind of odd to me anyway. I get that Monica, maybe her and her mom have that type of relationship, and we clearly see how they interact with one another and they'll say anything. But I do like that Heather, kind of went to her, told her, hey, I don't appreciate A, B, and C, and don't let it happen again. And it was no need for it to last any longer than what it actually did. So kudos to you, Heather, for, standing up and saying what you need to say.
Do you think that Heather is kind of right to question whether or not Meredith was the one that started the rumors? And do you think Monica, we have some people saying in the chat that she did insinuate, do you think Monica's trying to clean up her involvement?
Yes.
And how out of hand that got?
Monica definitely, she didn't state for sure that Meredith did it, but saying something like, she called me and told me I should check my DMs, and I checked my DMs, and lo and behold, this information was there. So she did insinuate that it could have possibly been something that Meredith set up. So I understand why the women kind of took that and ran with it. Now, I guess they're thinking in their minds, they don't have any reason to kind of question Monica. They're already kind of on the defense anyway, because they feel that Meredith has kind of planted things in the past. Which I don't completely agree with that either, but we'll discuss that later on. So with the whole situation, Monica was kind of the ringleader to kind of plant that Meredith was a part of that. Now, it was kind of odd that, Meredith wasn't really sticking up for herself, and she was just kind of like, I didn't do it. It was, and initially I was the same. Yeah, Meredith did it. But after watching more, I'm not so sure anymore.
Shantae, do you think Meredith's reaction as those accusations were flying at dinner, was that like the actions of somebody that was completely innocent? Or are you kind of on Whitney's side where it's like, this is hella weird. Like, somebody who's innocent should actually not be just like, let's cut cake, ladies. Let's pretend nothing happened. What are your thoughts?
No, I feel like Whitney's forgetting that Meredith was on death's door. I mean, she had
now she don't have the
left,
energy.
Yes, she had been left to hang out to dry. They had to bring the IV. They left her for dead. So I'm like, okay, she just had her IV. She just, trying to see what life is like again. She didn't have the energy to bother with them. So I didn't think Meredith's reaction was weird. And I'm tired of them feeding her to the wolves on this trip. And I'm side-eyeing Monica. Her own child side-eyes her. Did you hear that card that she had for her
don't
birthday?
Get arrested.
She said, don't get arrested.
It'd be her own kids, like her own family is side-eyeing her. The mother, too, is vindicated, because if you looked on Twitter,
oh no,
her mom's Twitter's LD Millionaire, I think. It came out that the mother did not tell the family not to visit. And Monica admitted it. And Monica said that the reason why, she still kept saying is because when she called her mom didn't pick up. Yeah. And then her mom's like, I work then. So basically, Monica is looking like the one that's the schemer and the scammer. that's setting everything up. I think she's definitely trying to throw Meredith under the bus. Meredith may have, wanted her to spread the rumor a little bit more, but Meredith is not behind it as the mastermind, I don't think. And the internet streets have been saying that it's weird that Monica would get the DM because the public didn't know that she was on the cast yet. You know how, like, for example, Giselle and them, right? They got the DMs from Juan's mistress, but that's because they know that Giselle's also on the cast with Robin, right? But at that point, the public didn't know that Monica was on the cast. So who's sending stuff to Monica?
Meredith?
Right. I guess there would be more reason to point.
That's a bigger case to believe that Meredith said it.
I don't know. I'm just saying something in the milk ain't clean. And if Monica's own children think she about to be down to the jail with Jen Shaw, we cannot be taking her word these days. I'm Team Meredith.
I'm gonna tell you when I kind of side eye Monica when she told Heather, I didn't think that Meredith would do that. That's something I would do. I was like,
I was like, hold on. Even Heather was like, hold on, don't say that.
Heather said, don't say
what
that.
What do you mean that's something you would do? So then pivoting to something that is probably a little more egregious, this photo shoot that Whitney did. Do you think she should be kicked off the show for this?
Yes.
How many more
not only for the photo
be assaulted,
also be kicked off for that little mushroom cut that she had.
But did you know it was slightly oblong? Like once she had the Rihanna umbrella bang.
It was given the lady that used to go around and fix the salons. Tabitha, I think was her name.
Yes. Salon makeover. It's crazy to see Whitney without the nose job, without the injections, without the lip plumpers, with that she just looks like a regular, boring lady. But seriously, do you think that Whitney is blowing this extremely out of proportion, or does she have a reason to be upset with Heather at this point? Because we know it's discussed later on. When you first saw this, do you think she had a reason to be upset with Heather?
When I first saw it, I was like, oh, wow. Because I mean, of course, I didn't read Bad Mormon, so I'm taking her word for like, damn, Heather discussing her, her sexual escapades in her book and blah, blah, blah. That's what I was thinking, because that's the way Whitney made it look. So, in this very moment, I'm like with Whitney, like, yeah, if you can't talk about your own end, don't talk about mine.
Don't talk about mine.
Yeah.
Shantae?
To be fair to Heather, though, she was the photographer, so it's her story too that she had to be there, looking at Whitney's dirty feet in the air.
I didn't know it was just a picture at that time. I thought it was a legit story about whatever Whitney had done, because clearly, or allegedly, maybe she's been like a slut in the past. She did cheat on her husband and steal somebody else's husband. So I thought it was some real.
You bring that up every chance you can. Over the last 4 years, you have brought that up every chance you could. My God, Tonio.
She took somebody's husband. It's true.
I mean, I was thinking like it was going to be like, oh, she went to a swingers club and she had with. It was a whole orgy situation. I legit thought it was like some real deep stuff in that book about her. So in this moment, I'm like, okay, check her with check her.
Okay, so the ladies get onto the Sprinter van and they are having a day on a yacht. Monica is dry shaving her legs like a prison queen that she is. And it's reminded me of riding back to the club in like 2002 with my trans girlfriend's Jackie, who's just trying to like really quick because she got off work late and she has a show. So she's like, I need to make sure that I'm trimmed up and everything. I was like, yes, Jackie. Yes, I'll drive for you, even though I don't got a license. Let's go.
Not Jackie,
but once they're on the boat, not Jackie. Okay, Jackie. Once they're on the boat, Meredith automatically sequesters herself. And she does look a little bit uncomfortable. It reminded me a little bit of do you remember that meme that circulated of Caitlyn Jenner just randomly staring off in the desert with the wind blowing her scarf? Yes. And that's what Meredith looked like. Just very by herself. Meanwhile, the other ladies are lapping it up. They're cheersing. They're having a good old time.
Taking pictures.
Taking photos, taking pictures of each ladies. Lisa finds a bar. Whitney finds a pole, because of course. But Heather does go and she sits down with Meredith, and she's just, again, very straight up with her.
Yeah.
She said, yo, I'm going to be 100% real with you. Everybody thinks that you did this. It looks really, really suspicious given your past, given the stuff that we argued about last year and the year before. And this is where Monica kind of lost me. Because Meredith, with her very convincing lawyer voice, recounts her version of the events. And she says it was actually Monica that brought up the mafia on a flight about 3 to 4 weeks earlier. Meredith then says that Monica was spilling a lot of details about stuff that she had heard. The following week was when that lunch that Monica mentioned that they went to. And Meredith frames it as they were walking through a neighborhood, and she jokingly said, oh, did you know that this was owned by the mafia? Because it was a recall to the question they had on the conversation they had on the plane. She says that's when Monica started talking about other stuff that she had heard. And then she says that's when the DMs popped up, and before she could get any further, hold on, I lost my spot. That's when the DMs pops up. So all of this is starting to sound really familiar. Heather does look genuinely confused. She says, oh, Monica didn't mention that part. She still doesn't know who to believe because obviously history is kind of repeating itself with Meredith. Meredith gets up and pulls Monica to the side. I'm very confused with how we landed where we landed. What happened? And so Monica is like, girl, the two of us had this conversation. We were sitting there. We were Googling the Greek Mafia because both of us believed she could be in it. And then this is where I was kind of like, I think Meredith was probably kikiing and making fun of Angie and Googling Meredith. I'll never believe it. I'll never believe it. I was Googling. And so then Monica is recounting the convo, and Meredith is cool and calm. And Monica started to spiral. She's raising her voice. She's yelling, that's not what happened, blah, blah, blah. And in the middle of it, Lisa jumps up and begins screaming at Meredith. Stop it, Meredith. This is what you do. We're all sick of it. And she's screaming that Meredith is a mess and she's losing all her friends. Meredith is like, I actually have a lot of friends. Thank you. And Lisa's like, you'll never have a friend. You're losing them. And then Heather randomly is like, well, why does Monica get a pass if she participated? And Lisa's like, Monica's taking accountability and owning it. And I was like, well, that's not really what happened. Yes. So Angie and Lisa then migrate over to Meredith. Meredith is still surprisingly very, very calm. And again, I'm just recounting that dinner we had a couple of weeks ago where Meredith is just screaming at Angie to leave over like some very little things like, hey, you're putting threats out on my family. But regardless, the lady Angie is like, you're making stuff up about my family. Again, I'm telling you this. Lisa's like, this is what you do, blah, 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 blah. And Meredith is still really, really calm over this until Whitney says that she believes Monica because Whitney was involved in very similar behavior last year. She participated in gossip, bone collecting, and a takedown, all that involved Meredith. And Lisa says, moving forward, if anybody else has secrets leaked or documents leaked, nobody is going to believe Meredith and all fingers are going to be pointing. And when Whitney tells Meredith she just needs to own it, that sets Meredith off. She screams that these hoes are pissing her off, and she stomps down the stairs of the catamaran, leaving everybody else upstairs really, really annoyed. So Shantae, there's a lot happening on the catamaran. What are your thoughts on this?
Lisa and Heather had me cackling because Lisa just yelling and losing it like that was just so funny. And then the way Heather tried to throw Monica under the bus.
I was like, y'all just made up.
That's
like,
what I was saying. I was like, y'all were just down to the beach talking about, let's move on. And then Heather immediately was like, yo, Lisa, give Monica some of that smoke. Come on, So I was just thinking this is a beautiful season. This cast is just so funny. And then when it came to just Meredith storming off, I would have left too because they were all just not trying to hear her side because I do think there's always, one side, the other side, and then the truth is somewhere in the middle. So I think that Meredith's story did make sense, and I like the flashback by production, like the black and white, kind of like vindicating what she was saying, with them toasting and all that. I know we didn't get all the audio, but I do believe what Meredith is saying, and I know that Monica's a scammer. So, like I said, I think it's Meredith's side, Monica's side, and the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
So Taylor has a comment saying, regarding the season last year, or the scene last year where Whitney started the convo about the rumors and doing favors, and then got drunk and changed the story. So, Tonio, when she said that, what was your thought? Were you like, okay, you got a point, or like, girl, that was you?
I was like, girl. Stop. Because I was, and I'm like, and I agree. I understand why Meredith got up and walked away, because at that point, the only person that was really trying to listen to Meredith's side to kind of try to see if they can make some sense out of possibly what happened was Heather. Everybody else was screaming and going at her, and I get it. You guys are upset, but at that point, I'm sure Meredith felt like there's no need to try and defend myself, because they've already made up their minds as to what they believe anyway. Whitney, she's just going to do what she needs to do to try to make it look like someone used her. No, you guys were both sitting there having a conversation, and the stuff came up. But then you decided that you wanted to be friends with Lisa more than Meredith, because we know that they've been vying for her attention since season 1. And that was your chance to kind of get it, was to go and say, hey, look at what Meredith tried to get me to do to you. And it essentially it kind of worked, because they became, friendly.
You said that last year when it originally aired. You said this exact same thing last year, if I recall.
Yeah. So when in regards to the whole situation, I agree with Shantae. What I do think there was a discussion. There were some things talked about. The whole let's Google Greek Mafia in Utah. Did you just think that Angie's last name was going to pop up? Like, come on, Monica. And like, that's why I said I initially was thinking, yeah, Meredith did everything. But now I'm kind of like, I'm not so sure that Monica is completely innocent. And I do like that Heather said, hey, y'all giving Meredith a lot of smoke, but Monica's kind of getting out scot-free. And they're like, all you got to do is own up to it. But I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, what if she really didn't do it? Like, she never said, and this is the thing in regards to any DMs, she never said she didn't know who did it. She just only said, I didn't do it. Because we know Meredith isn't gonna do that. She probably, put Brooks up to it. He seems like a little messy, queen. He'll probably do whatever.
No, he's a model now.
He's a model.
Ford model now. Remember?
What do you guys think of this? Robo's Adventures
in my Vogue I just got. So
allegedly.
He ain't my Cosmo. Robo's Adventures says, I think Meredith's confused and is still trying to piece together all the conversations with Monica so she doesn't end up telling a lie. Now, we know Meredith loves herself a little Percocet. Allegedly, she loves herself a little peel. She loves herself a little slurring words. Do y'all think she's trying? Is she purposely trying to piece together information, or is she genuinely like, shit, did I have that combo? What do y'all think?
When you get a little tipsy, and I have had these moments, and not even just being just so.
I have these moments on this show. I can't remember what.
But it's like, my friends be like, "Yeah, remember when we talked about?" And I'm just like, that man could be walking down the street, and I wouldn't know what. I hope I don't.
Sorry to that bad.
It does. It definitely happens. So that could be it. Jim, but it seems like she knows that there was this conversation that was had, but they're both pointing at each other, and she's saying the reason why she called Monica to say, hey, check your DMs, because the stuff that was in the DMs was stuff that Monica had told her, so it seemed kind of odd, and I'm like, I mean, okay.
I don't necessarily, I don't 100% believe that, because why would you call Monica to say, did you get any? Because she never said she didn't call Monica. She never said, I never called Monica and told her.
Yeah, she said she called her, and that's why.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, why would you tell her to check her DMs if the stuff in your DM, like, why would she also have the same? Like, I don't know. That's where she kind of tripped me up a little.
I think they're both telling a little bit of the truth, but they're also both telling the equal same
enough to get them off. Yeah. What about you, Shante?
Oh, I think Meredith is a lawyer, and right now she's going into, that mode. Like, okay, what can I say that's not going to incriminate me, and what are the facts? Because probably some stuff that again was just gossip, a little, joking mixed with shade or whatever, and she's probably just trying to piece together things, and I don't think it's anything that will lend to Meredith being more guilty than Monica. I think they both were talking smack, and they're both trying to paint the other as the one who's more responsible, for whatever dirt is gonna be dug up on Angie based on the DMs. But if Meredith had it her way, I think she wished that Monica would have just told the gossip, without her getting implicated at all. And Whitney and Monica are bugging me though with this idea that they're just pawns to spread gossip and people are using it, but it's like, no, y'all are gossiping. Nobody's forcing y'all to
y'all doing it because y'all like
it. You're messy. Just own it. Yeah.
Taylor says Monica will be bored if she didn't have drama in her life. Bury that. It's the whole trying to piece together what was said. It reminds me, Meredith is very much, dude, where's my car? Where maybe you took one too many Ambien and had one too many glasses of champagne. You woke up the next day like, what was said? And then now it's a zany adventure to figure out exactly how the mafia got involved and who sent the DMs. So like I'm leaning more toward, like, I think they both were equal parts messy, cackling on that plane.
Yeah.
And Monica probably took this as an opportunity to be like, okay, let me just put this out here for, like, I think Monica was producing a little bit at this, taking an innocuous conversation that's just supposed to be meant like, we're kikiing, we're both talking shit about somebody that we don't really like at this moment. It was not meant as serious, like, she really is in the mafia, we need to report her earnings to the IRS. It's probably Jen Shaw from prison, allegedly.
That's what Shaw said.
It's her revenge. Okay, so the ladies continue to have fun on their day, and Meredith then asks to speak separately with Angie, and she lets her know again she's not behind it. Angie makes a little bit of sense. She was like, you know what, if I was in the situation, if it was me that done this, I wouldn't even entertain random DMs. Like, why would you even call Monica asking about a DM? Like, if you know that it was stupid, if you know that if it was lies, if it didn't make any sense. But Meredith kind of pivots really quickly in this little lawyer thing where she was like, well, I'm not scared of you like you say I am. I just don't like the way you treat me and the way that you talk to me and the way that you berate me and the way that you yell at me. And she's like bombing Angie with all these things. And Angie's like, okay, yeah, maybe I can agree with that. And then, Meredith is like, you know what, I don't know if we can, but let's just reset. Let's just a clean slate. I know you hate me, but let's just reset it. And Angie's like, yeah, okay, we're friends. And then in her confessional, she says, well, she doesn't trust Meredith. Meredith's going to have to earn her trust back. And so then Meredith immediately goes upstairs and walks up to Lisa and Heather and is like, Angie and I had a talk, and she's putting a hit out on me. And I'm like, girl, read the room. Like, this is not a joke right now.
A girl. Like
Lisa and Heather was like, and Meredith awkwardly cackles, and Lisa's like, okay, cool. And then they just like go about their day. We transition off to the van. Meredith sits with Lisa, and Monica clocks it, and immediately they're whispering in each other's ear, just like, hey, I know you're kind of not in a good place with me, Lisa. And Lisa's like, no, it's fine. What's going on? And she tells her that Miss Brooks got signed with Ford Models, and she's a model now. And Lisa's like, oh my God, that's so crazy. I love that for me, and I love that for you, and I love that for him, and I love that for Ford. And Monica's like, what the hell is happening? Like, you were just yelling at this woman not less than an hour ago, and now y'all are friends. Meredith tells her that Brooke is the one that suggested that she just kind of leans into Lisa because Lisa knows who she really is. And I'm like, okay, girl, sure.
You like F half of New York. Like, what?
She F half of New York. Is that who she really is? Whitney and Heather are kind of laughing. And then Whitney says randomly, Whitney's drunk as usual. She says Justin has a nice nose for going down on her. And the ladies are all kind of laughing. But I was like, why can't this be cut out? Like, my God, please just production needs to spare us at least one cringy story. Just one story, production, please edit. Then she asks Heather if Heather has ever been eaten out or something, and Heather quickly shuts that down and is like, nope, not doing it. We're not talking about my sex life. And then that's when Whitney again turns victim and, you sex shame Monica and you're yelling at me and you talk about my sex life. And Heather's like, I don't care. We're not talking about this. And Heather crosses her arms and throws a fit. And Monica's still very confused as to what is happening because Lisa and Meredith are in the back taking Lisa's 28,000 selfie. Tonio, were you a little bit jarred when Meredith immediately just sat by Lisa and started kikiing?
I was like, even when she went out, I appreciate her going over to Angie because they did say, hey, if you just take some ownership, all this will go away. We be cool. Now, granted, she didn't necessarily take any ownership, but she's kind of like, hey, we on the wrong foot and let's try to do better, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So I guess Meredith won't be discussing the Greek Mafia or allegedly sending or made up DMs from a fake Instagram account. Okay, great. And it seems like once she went to Whitney and Heather and Lisa was okay because it's kind of like, okay, well, if Angie is okay, then I'll be cool. Why would Lisa stay mad at Meredith if Angie isn't mad at Meredith? Yep. So it kind of made no sense, but I still did not expect when they got on the van for Meredith to get up and go back and be like, yeah, he'd be, I knew you'd be so excited and so on and so forth. That was kind of odd to me. But what was even odder was, Monica, why does that matter? Clearly, I'm sure they were out there a lot longer, of course, than what we saw. Yeah. So there were conversations that were being had. You don't know what they were hashed out, and you don't even know what they were back there discussing. So and then it made me side eye Monica even more. Like, did you want them to kind of really go at Meredith, or did you want this to be a way for Meredith to get iced out of the group? Or like, why were you so upset that they were able to talk and move forward? No one's mad at you, Monica. Like, it's not like you're on the outs. So what was that all about? That was odd to me as well.
Good point.
And Whitney is stupid, so
Geez. Shantae, do you think Monica was justified in feeling a certain way that Meredith immediately was like, homegirl, my gay son's a model?
No. I'm with Antonio. I thought that Monica got upset because her little plan didn't work. It made it more so look like she was scheming to use Lisa against against Meredith and drive the wedge between them with the whole Angie gossip. But I also like how Heather backed Whitney off of her by saying how her and Monica could talk about eating groceries.
Eating booty. Heather has been given content this season.
I was done. I was like, not the eat a booty gang. Didn't realize that Monica and Whitney were in the eat a booty gang before Heather said it.
Oh, who on the panel? Who on this panel is in that game?
All right, but we're gonna go ahead and just move right along. Anyway, that's my boundary. No. But
he turned into Heather so fast. Did you see how Jamie turned
I don't want to come back next season.
But don't you guys find it a little bit curious that just at the beginning, at the top of the episode, Whitney says Meredith is like almost like she wants to move past it all and have us stop asking questions and just pretend like none of this is happening. Didn't that scene on the bus and that little conversation with Angie, didn't that give that energy? Just like, okay, let's just move on. Let's do this. And let's just like bulldoze this so y'all can't be mad at me.
Yes, it did. It was,
Monica's
I mean,
vindicated.
but thinking from putting myself in Meredith's shoes.
Hold on now, Sean S. We're not eating booty is a beautiful thing between two consenting adults. We don't sex shame. We don't slut shame.
We don't yet now.
We don't yuck. No one's young.
But no, putting myself in Meredith's
after dark.
Put myself in Meredith's shoes, Jamie. I understand it. It's kind of like, I don't want to be awkward for the remainder of this trip. Let me just go ahead, do what it is that I need to do, so that even if she's not, and she said it later on, even if they're not still not upset with each other or whatever the case, at least we can like coexist, and I won't be in such an awkward position when being around, these women. So I understand why she did it. Seems like she's playing a little bit of, chess maybe, and not so much checkers.
Yeah.
Say no.
And that scene is kind of showing why Meredith will probably end up lasting longer than Monica. Because we've already seen Monica is very much iced out. Obviously, the events of next episode is going to shed a little more light. But Meredith has been involved in some pretty heavy mess. And people keep coming back being friends with her. And Sean says, y'all going to mess around and get E. coli. Sean! Now, I ain't a food inspector, but I make sure to wash my meat before I cook it.
So you won't get E. coli.
All right. Once they're back at the house,
so you got to wash.
You got to wash your chicken. Once they're back at the house, Monica and Whitney talk. Monica is feeling a way. Whitney pops up and was like, Monica, move. I need glam more than you. And then the camera zooms in and I'm like, ooh. This is the first time she's never lied. So Monica, while Whitney is getting her glam done, Monica talks to her and was like, yo, I feel like that now that Meredith knows that Monica told everybody that Meredith is now doing damage control and making nice with everybody and just kind of left me there out to dry. And Whitney's like, absolutely, I completely agree with you. And she's like, I don't like that because I feel like she used me to kind of get some gossip across. And Whitney's like, we're going to get to the bottom of this tonight at dinner. And I'm like, oh my God, Whitney, stop. So they're at dinner. Everybody's taking their selfies. Whitney has 7,000. Heather has 10,000. I'm not lying. Lisa Barlow has 28,000 selfies of herself on her phone and says that's why she needs 2 terabytes. And I'm very confused because if you follow Lisa Barlow on Instagram, she has the exact same selfie 3,000 times on her Instagram, just in different outfits. Like it's AI generated. It's the same selfie. Lisa Barlow. She's
everything.
Very me. Y'all follow me on Instagram, I have the exact same selfie in different outfits.
I live for you, Jamie.
We see each other.
Yes, I do like his selfies.
Shante, how many selfies do you have in your phone?
Oh, I don't know. I have more pictures of my baby because he's so cute. So yeah.
Oh.
I don't take as many selfies anymore.
I'm my own baby. Antonio, how many selfies do you have?
Thousands.
Oh, it looks like I'm gonna be the only one that's gonna be honest here. I have 512.
No, I have a little. I'm sure I have more than that. Like, okay. I take a lot of pictures, even selfies. I don't post all of them, but they're there for sure.
Did they for yourself? For
Go
your
back and look
personal collection?
Yeah.
So as they order, we see Monica is continuing to side-eye like Meredith. Meredith is actively going out of her way to ignore Monica is even there. Monica lies again and is like, I have a headache and I have a migraine and I can't even blink. And Heather randomly is like, no, you're fine because you can still move. If it were serious, you wouldn't be able to move your face. Like me, I had Bell's palsy, and then shares with us that due to stress of her divorce and stuff, she had Bell's palsy, which is it's a serious medical condition, randomly brought on with left side paralysis of the face. And I'm not trying to laugh at that lady's medical condition, but she shares that she had a Costco.
And they showed the doggone picture.
They showed the picture. And this is what makes Heather a top tier housewife, because there's very few other housewives who will utilize their own personal embarrassment and public humiliation as part of this is my storyline. And she happily is like, yeah, look at my face was crooked and I had to have my eyes sewn shut and I couldn't talk. God bless God bless Heather. She says, it cleared up. But Heather really is become like a magnet for physical trauma. Like she's fallen. She's gotten a black eye by her alleged lesbian lover and best friend. She got half her face paralyzed due to stress. So like I need Heather. Heather needs to be put in a bubble and protected at all costs if she's going to make it to season 5 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So Monica, begins speaking. And she says, you know what? I feel weird energy coming from Meredith. Meredith admits, I'm really, really upset with you. And Monica said, well, that's unfair. We sat here all afternoon and saw Lisa screaming at you and saying the most horrible things. And then you're laughing and getting on the bus and you're ignoring me and you're still pissed at me. And Lisa kind of jumps in and defends Monica a bit. She's like, I know where it would probably seem a little bit, weird. It doesn't make sense, but I look at Meredith like a sister. When we fight like sisters. I can say the most horrible thing to my sister, and we know at the end of the day it's love, and we got it out of our system. And Meredith kind of agrees. She goes, when you and I had that fight about the slut of New York City, when I forgave you and we became friends, I chose to accept you the way that you are. And the person that you are is when you get mad, you get wound up, you say things to get it out of your system, and then you're fine. And Lisa agrees. And Monica's like, well, I'm just really upset. It's making me emotional because I feel like you're mad at me and you're not at, and Meredith is like, okay, like, I don't know what you want me to say. Meredith's kind of standing on it. She's like, I don't know what to tell you. I am upset, but like, where do we go from here? And so Monica's like, fine, we're going to go ahead and move on. And Meredith changes the subject, asking about summer plans. Lisa gets a little choked up because Jack is leaving on mission. She realizes that, this is part of him becoming a man. He may come home, but he's not ever going to be back home the way that he was before this. And she's having a hard time about it. And seeing Lisa get choked up, like Lisa's a lot of things. Sometimes she plays up for the camera. But I felt like, as a mother, she was really, genuine about that. So before we end with this final scene with Heather versus Whitney, Shantae, what did you think of, Monica kind of calling Meredith to the mat about Meredith ignoring her?
Yeah, I didn't like that. And it really gave that Monica just feeds off of drama. She had no reason to just put herself out there in the line of fire like that. She knows that Meredith and Lisa were friends long before. And if they want to make up, that's their business. It shouldn't hurt her. It shouldn't make her feel away. But the fact that she does feel away, again, makes me think that she was masterminding some I'm going to wreck the group kind of thing. And because the group is still intact, she feels away. And I don't like that for Monica. She needs to just mind the business that pays her. And she's going to get a lot of attention soon enough when they find out she's a scammer. So she should just be quiet and enjoy the food. It's very, very not becoming. And then when it comes to Jack, it was funny that what's her face? Lisa was talking about him leaving in July. Because word on the street is that he didn't leave until it last month?
No, he didn't go at all. I thought the trip got canceled, and he is actively in California.
He was in California for a long time. Yeah, that's why people were asking at BravoCon, where is he?
Let me go on and put allegedly, because Lisa Barlow watched the show, and she ain't suing me for my shekels. Yeah. I'm trying to move in March.
She gonna try to take my Hannah's outfit. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think he's gone now, but I think he didn't want to go to college and wanted to get out of that house.
You said that before, and I completely agree. The mission. Do you know how bad you've got to not want to go to college to go to on a mission trip with a cult, alleged cult, and think that that's a better option? Tonio, do you think Monica? This whole scene, you obviously were not feeling Monica and her involvement in this. What did this do for you?
You know what? The Housewives realm, I don't mind what Monica did at the table, and it is, being straightforward with Meredith. Hey, what's the issue? Blah blah blah. So I don't mind that at all. I hate that Monica feels that she and Meredith's rapport is equal to or greater than the rapport that Meredith and Lisa had. That's years and years and years of relationship there, even prior to the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So regardless as to what they've gone through and what they've said, been friends and they said, oh, this person owes money or this person cheated or it, but it hasn't been so low to where it's things that they can't, come back from. So I think that Monica kind of got that realization tonight, like, oh, okay, they can fight and they can be able to move forward. But I do also like that Meredith stated, hey, just because I'm, coexisting doesn't mean that I'm still not upset, but I understand, I know who this person is. And Lisa kind of, to me, validated that as well. I think that Monica, there were some lessons to be learned at that table. And I hope that she kind of took them and she can implement them going forward, because you really get, I think when you really start to be upset and hold on to things on these shows and you legit fall out with people and you don't talk, it kind of hurts the entire circle, which in turn then hurts the show itself. So
agreed, particularly on a cast that has seen so much of that. Like it's from season 1 just been change up of alliances and stuff like that. While she's doing her job and it's good for the show, to have this now be the second time that Meredith has told you something and you have gone back and told the group, I don't know why you think Meredith wouldn't be mad at you.
Yeah.
And I get it. Your feelings are hurt, whatever. But like at some point you got to be like, okay, I understand why she's pissed at me. Like, and you can actively be mad at her because you're feeling like she threw you under the bus and like she left you hanging out to dry. Those are also valid.
Yeah.
But like that doesn't mean that you're entitled to have her not have her feelings. And I think that this first season has been a crash course in Housewives 101 for her. She's quickly become popular. She's quickly become a fan favorite. But a lot of that has come at the expense of like being involved in a lot of mess and burning a lot of bridges with her cast, as we're going to see at, before the reunion. It's definitely been leaked that nobody except like Mary is really talking to her right now.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. So, all right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. We get the last scene. Whitney says that she wants to have a do-over for Monica's birthday because last night kind of went left and they should all head to a bar to drink and celebrate. And I'm like, yeah, because this isn't going to go bad. So as they're sitting down, talk turns to Heather's book, and Heather says that she's a New York Times bestseller. Her book is doing really well. Whitney is plastered again. And immediately is like, you know what? I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you and I'm mad at your book. And she's mad because Heather talked about that ghetto low budget boudoir photo shoot in the book. And she's like slurring through her reasons to be mad. And Heather kind of cuts her off and says, like, Whitney, like, we literally discussed that multiple times. We talked about this multiple times. I even took out this is the part that had me rolling. I took out the part where it was your idea to take your panties off. And I was like, well, it's in the show now. And she was like, I don't understand why you're upset. You knew it was going to be in the book. I cleared it with you. I edited it in a way that you asked me to edit it. And Whitney's like, oh, you slut shame me and you slut shame everybody. And she's just like drunk at this point and screaming and saying that she's exploiting her vagina. And Heather is like, this is stupid. I'm going to get up and leave. And she gets up to leave. And Whitney kind of stands in her way. And for a second, I think she's about to mollywop Whitney again. But no, she just trips and falls down. They have to pick her back up. And I know the people in the bar, because that bar is as big as my damn living room in the bed.
This damn screen.
So the lady that was sitting behind Whitney was just like, they were knocking that people's chair. They were knocking the table over. Heather fell down, falling. She couldn't get up. She finally like charged out of the bar. Whitney's still like incoherently screaming at her. Heather slams the door behind her, hits the girl sitting at the damn table. Production follows them. Whitney is just kind of like, you are a double standard. You slut shame Monica. You never talk about your sex life. You're exploiting my vagina, and just like screaming across the city at her. Heather's trying to rip off her mic, and she's literally telling production, like, you need to get her away from me. Get her away from me now. So production kind of is like, okay, Whitney, and like we're left with Whitney's like final words before she goes inside. Was like, you exploited my vagina, and like that's it. So we close out the scene with Heather in like a dark alley, hiding from the cameras, and she's telling production, "Shut up. I just need to think for a bit." And the lady's like, "Okay, well, we can't leave you." She was like, "Okay, that's fine, but don't talk to me." Just like, shut up for a second. And the scene fades to black. So do you think Monica had a good birthday? Before I get answers, guys, I'm going to go ahead and put the link to the chat, or excuse me, to the call-ins in the chat. If you want to comment on that tragedy of a photo shoot, if you have some opinions on this final fight, you have some opinions on Monica, on the rumors, call in, let us know. So, Antonio, what the hell happened? Cool.
Everything and nothing. It was like everything everywhere all at once. It went from 0 to 33 in 2 seconds. And you know, I kind of like when the Housewives kind of, you know, toot their own horns. And when Heather was like, you know, I'm a best-selling author, and Whitney was like, yeah, you're also a hypocrite. It's so dramatic. And then when Heather got up and she ended up, I was interested to see how she kind of tripped. I thought Whitney was trying to like grab her or something like that. I'm like, girl, you just fell, just goofy and clumsy and fell.
I'm like, oh my God.
And she probably was embarrassed. So that probably added insult to injury why she stormed out the way she did. But this goes back to what I was saying earlier about initially, yes, I was on Whitney's side because I thought, okay, she discussed something so, you know, deep about Whitney's, you know, sex life and so on and so forth. And I'm like, girl, she talked about this ugly boudoir shoot that she did, that she was a photographer for you for in 2017, which I'm like, they had said they had just met around that time, which was okay. But so she talked about that. She did not exploit your vagina. She didn't talk about that, like you exploit your vagina every time you talk. You just finished talking on the bus about how you like your man and his nose to go down on you. He has a perfect nose for going down on you. So I just think that in this moment, I don't feel like Whitney feels like she's been involved in anything enough. So I think this was her moment to let me, like, you know, rally the cameras and scream from the rooftop. And that's what she decided to go with. It made even less sense for her to do that when Heather was like, you know, I sent this to you 3 or 4 times and we were making edits. It's like, okay, Whitney, this argument that you have is really null and void at this point. You're gonna have to just move on from this. Like, find something else to do. In which Monica gives them something the next episode. So
Shantae.
See, I saw things a little different because I rewatched the preview of the little altercation. I think that when Heather got up, I saw Whitney's hand go like in front of her neck, and you can see the top of her hand from Heather's back. Because remember, Heather's back was facing us, right? And she got up to walk towards Whitney. So I think maybe Whitney did one of her Krav Maga, whatever moves.
Whitney got her lick back from last year.
I think she got her lick back. I think Whitney thought that Heather was, you know, rolling up on her, and Whitney's hand did go out, and she got to a point where part of her hand was showing behind Heather's neck. So I think I'm serious. I think she cut off, you know, Heather's windpipe for a second. I think it was a chop.
Choke the lady out.
I think it was a chop. I think it was a quick ninja chop, right? And then I think that's what made Heather fall forward. And Heather was mad. It was quick. Like, rewatch it, I'm telling you.
No,
got a little chop. She got a little neck chopping. Yeah.
I did see her hand on Heather's back, but I took that as Heather had gotten close to her, and Whitney was kind of like almost like a hug, but kind of putting her arm up there. I think it was a ninja chop.
It was a ninja chop. And that explains why Heather got mad. Because Heather, I didn't like when she said, oh, you're wearing your sexuality, kind of like that was slut shaming to, you know, Whitney's outfit, because I thought Whitney looked cute, and Whitney got upset.
I thought she looked dirty.
Well, that's because she was sweaty and drunk.
But
the dress was cute, but I took that as Heather was just like, I'm not exploiting your sexuality. This is, you dress like this, like you proudly wear your sexuality. Like I can't exploit something that's out there. Like
she just talked about getting her cootie cat ate on the bus.
Okay,
but that's slut shaming though a little bit.
Taylor says Justin has a snout, so apparently he digging in Whitney like a trough, like a slop.
Put your nose in.
Now speaking into the
like
heart.
a red nose.
No, but at this point, I don't think it's just about the book either. I think that Whitney's also mad that she got exposed for being in the Eat a Booty gang on the bus. So it's not just about the book anymore. It's like
she exposed her
that. Nah, man.
Listen,
Heather said she in the Eat a Booty gang, so now she has double reason to go after.
So before her and Monica both were like, I have. Monica was like, my brother-in-law did it. It's fine. Either way, she choked Heather out. Heather, you remember how they choked me out?
Watch it again.
You don't remember choking me? You don't remember choking me? Oh my God. Okay, guys. Well, as we said, next week is the finale. We see a lot of stuff go down. If you recall episode 1, it opens with Heather finding out some disturbing news about one of her castmates. She has a full meltdown. At the very beginning of the season, we thought it may have been something about Jen Shaw's conviction. We find out, and if you've been following the blogs, it in fact is not. I'm not going to say what it is for those of you who do not follow the blogs, but we have a bombshell that's dropped about Monica, which has led to this huge division in the cast that apparently starts next episode. So the entire season has been leading to this. I will say, regardless of where you stand with Monica, it's kind of iconic that in your first season, you have battled with a lot of the big wigs. You come out on top with a lot of the big wigs, and you end the season with the drama centered on you.
Around you.
So
and
we'll
got first seat. And got first seat at the reunion.
And got first seat. And got first seat. And was one of the best dressed winning, I think. Team Monica. Team Eat a Booty Gang.
Monica.
TV Coli over here. Well, anyway, it's Christmas. Sean, I don't think that they're off for 2 weeks. Next week is the finale, and then I think that we will probably have a break before the reunion, but Potomac and Married to Medicine are off for 2 weeks, correct? They haven't given us word on Beverly Hills or Salt Lake City yet, but that would make sense because Potomac and Married to Medicine both air on New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve. So it would make sense for them not to air Married, we got a Tuesday and a Wednesday show. But Sean S. Don't knock until you try it, ma'am. We do not have any callers. So, guys, we are at the top of the hour. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Again, this coming Sunday, we are not dropping a new episode of Real Housewives of Potomac. This coming Monday, we are not dropping a new Married to Medicine recap or Married to Medicine recap on Tuesdays. Help me out, Tonio.
No.
Tonight was Married to Medicine.
So there will be so we will see you guys back on January the 8th and January the 9th.
For Potomac and Married to Medicine.
Potomac and Married.
Tomorrow, we are live with the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Thursday, we are live with the Real Housewives of Miami. And as far as we know, next week, we will also be live with Beverly Hills. And Thursday, we will also be live with Miami. And then keep subscribe to notifications on the show. I do not know if we've decided yet on recording Bell Collective, because again, that is usually done on Sundays for us to drop. Those next 2 weeks being a holiday, we want to give our fabulous lean people a chance to celebrate the holidays. So for those of you that we see tomorrow and Thursday, we will see you then. For those of you who are traveling with your family, we hope you and all of your loved ones have a fantastic holiday season. We are wrapping up 2023, and you guys, we saw a lot of great stuff. We've got some new people joining the cast. We hit 3,000 subscribers to our channel. We loaded some brand new shows on there that have seen some success. So 2023 has been a fantastic year for us. Tonio, Shantae, thank you so much for making this year great. I think I'm not on Beverly Hills tomorrow. Shantae, are you on Miami on Thursday, or are you off? Well, then this is the last, I think this is the last time we are on panels until the end of the year.
Yes.
So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I love you guys so much. Guys, we will see y'all later. Everybody stay safe. This is us signing off, and we will see you the next time we are live. Y'all have a great night.
Happy holidays. Happy New Year.